What's going on, y'all? My name's Rob. Welcome back to the Kentucky Chew. Alright folks, welcome back, and I really appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope everyone's having a good day, and if you're not, don't worry. We're about to talk about some whiskey. In all seriousness, I did want to take a second and just say thank you. The feedback and the responses and just the overall words that we're getting from everyone on what we're putting out right now has been awesome. Really appreciate you all taking the time to watch the content that we're putting out. The goal here is to keep this up and put out stuff weekly. Going to be coming up with some cool ideas of things to do along the way. And like I said, I just want to have fun. When I thought back on what I wanted to do with my collection, this kind of came to mind, and I thought it would be cool. So I really appreciate that there's some people out there that enjoy me rambling about bourbon and whiskey and what I enjoy. So first, I'm going to pour me up a little bit of Eagle Rare, because when we're talking about whiskey, I like to enjoy whiskey. But today we're going to be talking collecting bourbon. Not going to be talking about a review, not trying a bottle that I haven't had before, not going to be talking any limited releases or stuff that's just come out. Really wanted to focus on just the aspect of collecting bourbon. Like I mentioned in the video before, I kind of had an up and down roller coaster myself, got burnt out on it, was buying stuff that I probably shouldn't have been buying, was buying things with the intent of never even opening it. That has changed. I'm happy to open any bottle that I do have here in my collection. But yeah, there's just so many products out there. There's so much, and it's really easy to get lost in this game. And so I just want to kind of talk on that, give my 2 cents on it, take it or leave it. You know, it's not going to hurt my feelings, but maybe it'll help someone out there who's just getting started. So with that, when I was thinking about the content for this video, I thought it would be cool to share with you all my top 5. And when I say top 5, my collection, right? I'm not talking in the world. I'm never going to be able to try every product out there. I'm never going to be able to experience every bourbon that there is. I'm talking the top 5 in my own personal collection. So, disclaimer with that, these might not be readily available. Actually, almost none of them are. You may not even have seen these before. They might not be in your area. So, I apologize about that. I just want to talk about, what I think are the best ones on my collection, share my collection with you, and let me know what I should pick up. Comment below, and while you're commenting, go ahead and like and subscribe for me. That would help me out a ton. But, it's a game, folks. It's just a fun game. It's a hobby. It's hunting. You're not supposed to take it too seriously. So just want to throw that out there. These are just bottles that personally to me that I really enjoy. So with that, let's go ahead and chew on this a little bit. Ooh, I swallowed a little too quick. Eagle Rare. Doesn't miss. Love it. Alright, so top 5. My favorite products that I have right now. Number 5 coming in, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Fantastic product, folks. Very good. I love this. Elijah Craig. It's going to come out of the Heaven Hill Distillery. This specific bottle here is the C921, 120.2 proof, and it's got the 12-year-old age statement on the side. I personally have not had an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof that I do not like. I've only got a couple bottles of it. I've finished a few bottles of it. I've tasted a few that I don't have, and for me, they're good. If you've paid attention to anybody talking about whiskey lately, all the rave right now is the C923. From what I've seen so far, the newest release, the A124, is a dud. I can't speak personally, I have not tried it yet, but it is not getting a lot of good feedback right now. But for me, it's in my top 5. I mean, it's everything that I would hope for in a high proof bourbon. So when I say that, if you're starting to collect or you have not experienced a lot of different whiskeys and bourbons, this would not be something I recommend for you to try. Like I mentioned, this one's 120 proof. They get up into the 130s. No matter how long you've been drinking, that's gonna pack a punch, and you need to drink very slowly on that and probably work up a certain tolerance to that level. For me, I think I got my first bottle of this about a year or so ago. So I've been collecting for a little while, and I just really, really like it, folks. I mean, it's just good. And so I just felt like it deserved to be in my top 5. Now, Good news about this bottle, it's around $80. I think that's very fair. Like I said, 12-year-old, high proof bourbon. What else could you ask for? Secondary, it's not that bad in my opinion. You know, a lot of times I see it around $100 and $120. That is going to depend on which release. Some are more popular than others. Someone will write an article about one and say it's the best thing in the world, and then all you know, boom, you can't find it, right? So overall though, consistently, they're going to be pretty close to what you could get them for retail. For me, it's a good value. It is a good value of a whiskey. Highly recommend it. If you can't find this product, if you're never going to be able to come across it, go get you an Elijah Craig product. You should be able to find the small batch. I like it. I think it's good. A lot of people put it in their like top budget bourbons, or if you're just getting started collecting, a lot of people recommend that one. So at minimum, give it a whirl. Go try the small batch. If you're fortunate enough, get you the barrel proof along the way. Moving on to number 4. Number 4 on my list of my top 5 products is got to be the Woodford Double Double Oak. For you who don't know, Woodford does a Double Double Oak. And the reason I say that, I didn't know that until 2019. To be honest with you, I don't know when they started doing this. They do a lot of different releases now. They're getting very creative over there at Woodford, and this by far is my favorite that they put out. You know, when I tell you all, when I started collecting, I was naive and I was just so focused on certain products, essentially just Buffalo Trace products. Woodford wasn't even on my radar, and I have no idea why. Like, I just wasn't going to buy any of their products, and to be honest, I don't think I knew that there were other whiskeys that they put out other than just their regular Woodford, the Woodford Reserve. And so I was with some friends. Fortunately, this 2019 bottle was pulled out, not this one specifically, but the 2019 Woodford Double Double was pulled out. I tasted it. I immediately went to Woodford the next day and was able to buy some. That has changed. Like I said, this is a once a year release. It's only released at Woodford. You have to go there to get it. I have heard a few bottles have been given out to some of the bigger name liquor stores in the Kentucky area. I've never seen them there, but apparently they get a few. But overall, if you're gonna buy this product, you essentially have to travel to their distillery. A lot of people aren't gonna be able to do that. I have been fortunate to get one. I love them all. They're very good. What sucks about it? Smaller bottle. So you're only getting 375 milliliters. Before this year, they were 50. They jumped up to 80. That's a tough pill to swallow, but I'm not overly surprised. Bourbon prices just continue to go up and up. We continue to buy them. So it's so good. It's got that smoky sweetness. That's how I describe it. A smoky sweetness profile. I'm not gonna leave you hanging here. I do have a backup for you if you can't get this one or if you're not gonna be able to. The Woodford Double Oak. So good. Extremely good bottle. If you've not had either, go get that. It should be on the shelf wherever you are. I've never walked into a liquor store and not seen it. If you can get a store pick of that, even better. If I had a daily sipper, it probably would be the Woodford Double Oak. And so I highly recommend going to get that one. The Double Double Oak, it is in the secondary market. It is expensive in my opinion. Like I said, you've got a smaller bottle here. I personally wouldn't get into all of that with it, but if you can get it for retail whenever they release it, highly recommend it. Moving on to number 3. Number 3 on my list has gotta be Weller 12, the black label. In my opinion, this is the best of the Weller lineup. I can confidently say Weller 12 is my favorite. If I try the single barrel and that changes, I'll let you all know. I don't think that's gonna be the case, but to me, this checks every single box. 12-year age statement. I do like wheated bourbons. It's well-rounded, it's consistent, they've been around for a long time, and it just packs those flavors that you're looking for when it comes to a whiskey. So good. If you can get your hands on this, I highly, highly recommend it. Man, if we lived in a perfect world and this was retail on the shelf still, we'd all be living like kings. Generally, I see this go for around $150. What I'll say, that's better than in years in the past. I've seen it all the way up to $250 a few years ago. It's cooled off to the $150 price, and so I'll go ahead and answer the question that everyone's thinking right now. yes, I would pay that. I would pay that secondary price for this bottle. I like it that much. Don't need to pay that. I have it on my shelf. I have it in my collection. So for the time being, I don't. But if I was to run out of it and I needed to get one for $150, I wouldn't be opposed to doing it. So just my opinion, take it or leave it. But that's where I'm at. With that, talking about the Weller 12, one thing I need to clarify from my last videos, I mentioned that in my collection, my first few bottles that I was gifted are the Weller Special Reserve, the Weller 12, and the Weller 107. I mentioned when I was talking about that it came from friends. Technically, that friend is my wife. She is a fantastic gift giver. And on this bar card, actually, that I have next to me, I came home one day for our anniversary. We weren't married at the time, we were still dating, but she had a bottle of Weller Special Reserve sitting there. And that's what started this whole thing. Shortly after that, she gifted me the Weller 12, the Weller 107. A few of my friends did help hook her up with those so that she could gift them to me. And it's been a wild ride since then. But shout out to my wife. Really appreciate you helping me with this collection. Moving on to number 4, which is my second favorite bottle on my shelf. And that is another Buffalo Trace product, E.H. Taylor Single Barrel. Folks, what else could you ask for? This is so good, so good. Bottle and bond product, that means it's 100 proof, at least 4 years old. It's fantastic, folks. I remember exactly where I was when I tasted this for the first time. Now, single barrel product can have a little bit of variation from, barrel to barrel, but overall, I've not had one that I don't like. And I was just so happy that I got my hands on this. If you've ever had the thrill of wanting to buy a bottle, finding that bottle, and buying it for less than secondary, you know what I'm talking about. I paid $80 for this. Let me know what you think. I'm curious to see what you have found this bottle for, if you like it or not. I generally see this go for about $200 secondary. So to me, this was a score. I am nursing it. We're getting towards the end here, which brings me to a point I want to talk about with collecting. So if you're able, when you find a product that you like, buy 2. You never know what's going to happen with whiskey these days. People put out new releases all the time that are phenomenal. People catch wind of it, and before you know it, it's gone. So if you've got something you like, pick it up. Try to get 2 of them. And then 2, try to taste it beforehand. That's how I came across this product. I tasted it with some friends. They were nice enough to share it with me. And that's how it ended up on my list of a bottle that I wanted to buy. If I can give any advice, try to refrain from spending those high dollar amounts on bottles you haven't tasted yet, because you just never know. I personally have spent money on bottles that I regret, and they just weren't that good. Other people might think they're good. Like I said, everyone has a different palate. Everyone's journey's different. Everyone's collection's different. And so it's just really hard to me to justify spending that much money on a bottle if I haven't even tasted it yet, right? So I know it's not always possible. Things are flying off the shelves, but if you can, go ahead and get a pour of it before you actually dive into buying it. My number 1, the one that I love the most. This, like I said, this was really hard, by the way. It was really tough to narrow all this down to 5 bottles. My number 1 bottle on my shelf has gotta be Michter's 10-year. This stuff is so good. Man, I really don't know what all I can say about it. It's just so easy to drink. Just boasting with flavors. This is a fantastic product. This one specifically, for anyone curious, is the 20G. All right, I'll tell you a story with this one. So last house I lived in, my neighbors, fantastic dudes, got along really well. Fortunate to have them as neighbors. One of the guys really liked bourbon. We would talk about it a lot. We both collect, and so we would just talk over whiskey quite often. The other guy wasn't so much into collecting, didn't care about the product as much, didn't like it. In his mind, it just wasn't for him. One night we're all hanging out. I bring this bottle out, and I was like, dude, give this a try. I promise it'll change your mind. I was right. Even he liked it. So to me, that speaks volumes for someone who's saying, hey, I don't like whiskey or bourbon, and then they try this and they like it. I mean, it is phenomenal. It is right at 94.4 proof, which is a sweet spot. It's a little higher than the double oak, which is at 90.4. Right in that range, and you know what you're doing, you can make some really good whiskey. So that's my list, everybody. These are my 5 favorite products on my shelf. As always, I hope to keep adding to that. That's the goal this year. And so let me know what you think. I've got several different options that I can open up and try. Let me know what you see on my shelf that I should give a whirl, what I should taste. Let's just enjoy this collection together. Let me know in the comments if you have any of these bottles, your thoughts on them, and maybe you can kind of see the profile I like and what I go towards. Give me some recommendations. I'd be happy to go pick a bottle up and give it a taste and let you know what I'll think. But with that, really appreciate you all tuning in. Again, happy chewing.